Hey yo, still bells, what's the deal? Still man, about to go make this food run, man. But peep game though, man. Look, like I said, man, I had Kell Brooks stopping Amir Khan going into this fight, man. I felt Kell Brook is he's a lot sharper and more calculated as a fighter. Khan has always relied on his speed. And granted, he's a good counterpuncher his damn self, because even he found pockets where he was able to make Kell miss and make Kell pay. So he's a good counterpuncher in his own respective right. But Kell was just, how do I even put it in the context? I think Khan is a type of dude where, after frustration, you can't necessarily catch him in timing because of his speed, his fast feet, and his fast hands. Then he's able to start picking you apart through the counter shot, because you're getting desperate, you're reaching a little bit, and he's able to time you and catch you. Kell's game is pretty much predicated on sharpshooting and countering. He even really he just played a real good defense in there too, man. Khan would launch like 3 and 4 jabs consecutively, and he'd slip all of them and get under all of them. But like I said, man, in my prediction video, man, he gets this Khan in the now kind of get his hands get to the target before his feet is in position to put him, before his feet puts him in position. His hands get there first, and that leaves you off balance, man. And he didn't necessarily get punished for that, but he was able to see the shit coming and get, he had a defense for it. A lot of Kell Brooks' work was just he was just sharpshooting him. It wasn't necessarily counter punching or nothing like that. That was really being his kryptonite. It was just Kell would land, he would make the shot count. And Khan is clearly a lot more chinny than Kell Brook in the now, man. This dude got, what was it, the 6th round? He got clipped and hurt bad off of a jab. He had Bambi legs off of a jab. That shit was real alarming. And even in the 1st round, you just seen it like, oh, this shit ain't gonna go forever. I was watching it with Ring IQ, and I was like, this shit ain't going past 7. It's not going past 7, man. He was in there. Everybody kept saying he looked tired. I didn't think that he looked tired. I just think he was kind of mentally wearing on Khan, because Khan really started to, get into some sort of a rhythm in the 2nd round. But it was, when he got into rhythm in the 2nd round, it was like, all right, cool. Like, Kell was kind of like, it seemed like he was allowing it to happen. Yeah, do whatever it is you're gonna do, whatever the fuck ever. He was pretty nonchalant. He was just stalking him and walking him down. He was stalking him and walking him down and forcing Khan to fight off of the back foot, which that was his plan going into this fight anyway, to fight off of the back foot and, quickly be able to close distance and keep Kell off balance. I saw it. And, I think if this was a younger Khan, he'd have had a better shot, because he wouldn't be in a position where he'd be overreaching on his shots without his feet putting him in proper position first. But yeah, man, Kell was just sharpshooting him. He was punching in between Amir Khan's combinations, man. I saw that. I was like, ooh, man. And even Khan went for it at point in times, man. He would throw looping hooks and really try to off this man's head. I'm like, like, you can tell he really wanted it. He really wanted it, man. So and like I said, man, you can't, triangle theories don't work, but like I said, you're able to draw parallels when you have a common opponent. And when you look at how they were able to perform against against Bud, even though they both got stopped, Kell got stopped a lot earlier than Amir Khan did. Kell was able to force Bud to make adjustments. Brook had no answer for Bud when he turned southpaw. He pretty much had Khan figured out in the 1st round, and he dropped him. Early in the fight, Brook was timing, but Bud coming in. He was countering him effectively. And like I said, he opened up a cut on that dude's eyelid. I was like, I don't see Amir Khan. Did I say it was I did say it was a 50-50 fight, but you know, I thought Khan would have been able to do a lot better than what he did. But I was still leaning towards Kell Brook by way of stoppage, man. He's just a lot more calculative in his, you know, in his shots. He's a lot more precise in his punching, and he has the heavier hands. You know, Amir Khan fought one time above 147 pounds, to my knowledge, and we saw how that ended. Brook at least ended the fight with Triple G on his feet, and he's had multiple fights at 154 pounds. So fighting at a higher weight is nothing to him. I'm like, that shit is going to be a determining factor in this fight. And he was able to go in there and crash this man in 6 rounds. I'm looking at this dude, man. I could not believe how chinny this man was, man. Like, bro, like, bro, I can't get over the baby deer legs off of the jab, my nigga. Like, damn, it's that bad with you, Khan? A jab did that to you? A jab forced it? Sheesh. You know, Kell was, you know, I don't really recall body assault or nothing like that, but you know, he tapped the body a little bit. But shit, at that point, it was just like I'm having my way, hitting him in his dome. So I'll just stay up top. And it paid dividends, man. He was able to get in there and have his way with Amir Khan, and he was just in there getting battered. You know, he's, like I said, man, he's the beefier dude who's used to fighting at higher divisions. Amir Khan isn't necessarily that, man. That 2 pounds made up a difference. Kell Brook went in there and did what it is that he had to do. So now what I want to see, I would like to see Kell Brook and Keith Thurman. That's what I would like. I think Kell Brook and Keith Thurman should line that shit up, man. I'm not even gonna disrespect that man and say, yo, man, let him get Amir Khan. Nah, man. Amir Khan needs to go ahead and hang him up, because when you lose that part of your game, you know, your game is, you know, predicated on athleticism and speed, which you still have fast hands, but you're not as fast as you once were. And if Keith Thurman was to land on Amir Khan the way that he was landing on Mario Barrios, it's gonna be all she wrote for Amir Khan. He's not as fast as he once was, even though he's still very much so fast. So I would really want Amir Khan to hang him up, man, because, man, when you get in touch, when a jab does that to you, that's pretty problematic. A jab, and he never got dropped in the fight. He finished the fight on his feet. You dig? But you could just see, like, it was, yeah. I don't disagree with the stoppage at all. Khan was all over the place. He was getting battered from pillar to post. So yeah, I think he should hang it up. And I think Keith Thurman and Kell Brook need to go on ahead and lock that up. Because Kell still looked good. Kell still looked good. He was sharp. He's still sharp. Bud just proved to be a real, you know, the more precise and accurate puncher. His punch placement is incredible. It's phenomenal, man. So he was able to do that to Kell, as opposed to any, you know, ain't nobody else ever. He even said that has never happened to me before. So I think Kell and Keith will be a really good match. Both of them, well, Thurman lost, Kell got stopped. Alright, cool. And allegedly both of these cats are shot. I don't think Kell is shot. I honestly don't. I think he can, you know, he still has some good years left in him at 147 pounds, because the majority of these cats are not Bud. They're not Bud, so they're not going to be able to do that to you the way that Bud did it. So I think Kell and Keith is that's still a sellable fight. That's still a real sellable fight. Keith coming off a loss, all right, you back in the groove with a win over a dominant win over Mario Barrios. Y'all need to go on ahead and lock that up. Y'all need to go on ahead and lock that up, man. And whoever wins that, all right, cool. We own the greener pastures. Because I'm sure neither one of them are trying to look in the direction of a Conor Ben or a Jaron Ennis or a Virgil Ortiz. Even though I think Virgil Ortiz is closer to getting a fight with a fighter of their stature than any of them because of the work that he's been putting in. I still think they wouldn't look in their direction. Neither one of them. And it's clear. Neither one of them are looking in their direction. So I think Kell and Keith is still a sellable fight. I think that's a fight that we need to see. Kell Brook versus Keith Thurman. I don't think either one of them are shot. Even though that's the general consensus, a lot of people think that Keith Thurman is done. Like, nah, man, he ain't gonna be able to get back into title contention. And people are saying the same thing about Kell Brook. Nah, he's done. And his punch resistance isn't the same. If you catch him on that sweet spot, you catch him anywhere on that orbital bone, it's ugly. It's ugly. it's a problem, man. But like I said, not everybody's gonna be able to do what Bud did to him, man. Because Bud is just, he's a different dude. He's a different dude. But maybe Keith could, and I think that is the fight that they should be looking to make happen. That's the fight that they need to be looking in that direction. That is a sellable fight. Two fighters of, oh man, he shot. Both of them are shot in a lot of people's eyes. I don't think either one of them are shot, but a lot of people feel that way. And I think whoever wins that fight is, all right, cool. This dude, we could be looking at a potential title contention, man. I don't think Thurman needs to be looking in the direction of these champions right now, man. Not off of one fight where you couldn't get rid of a nigga. I mean, now granted, you disfigured him. You most definitely did that. However, we was expecting you to go in there and, comatose this man, and you didn't do it. So I think, why not get in there with the likes of a Kell Brook? You talking about you ready for Earl Spence and all that, and ooh guys, shit, man, why not get one more fight in to make sure that you're overly ready for the champions, and run that shit with Kell Brook. Run it with Kell Brook, because I do not think Thurman is particularly ready for them catch. I think he just, he still has to polish his game a little bit more as far as ring rust is concerned. Man. But I think he should get in there, and him and Kell Brook need to go on ahead and start looking to get that, to lock that shit in, man, because that would be a real dope fight. I was not excited for this fight until I watched the gloves off. I watched the press conferences. I'm like, okay, this shit, I think this shit finna be live. And I was right, and I tuned in. I watched the undercard. Shout out to Natasha Jonas, man. I gotta do a video on her. I'm vowing to start paying more attention to women's boxing. I really am. I really am. It's just every time a woman's fight comes on, I'm doing some dumb shit and I'm never able to watch it. I'm always able to catch Katie Taylor. I caught Marie-Eve Dicare's fight, and I think this is the set. I watched Natasha Jonas versus Katie Taylor, and then Nick versus Katie Taylor, and this is the second Natasha Jonas fight that I was able to watch. For her to come up 2 weight divisions and stop shorty like that, oh my God. Shout out to that sister. I loved watching it, man. Shout out to Eddie Hearn for making women's boxing what it is. I absolutely love it. Ain't no politics involved in it, man. So they could it's easier for them to get fights over the line because they like, yo, man, we ain't all super political and trying to get the biggest bag. So salute to them for that. But Thurman, Keith and Kell is where it needs to. Y'all need to have each other in the scope. Thurman was calling Kell out years ago anyway, man. Y'all just need to go on ahead and lock that shit up and see. That will be a very good gauge to see where the both of y'all are at. See if Keith is really shot and see if Kell is really shot. That will be a real good gauge for the both of y'all. Even though I don't think either one of y'all are shot. But because that's the general consensus, like I said, that would be perfect to see both of you motherfuckers get in the ring and finally run that shit. Finally lock horns. That would be dope. So let's look to doing that shit, man. Let's look to doing that shit. Is this mission right here? Nope. Let's look to locking horns between the two of you. I'll get on the phone with whoever it is you need to get on the phone with and make that shit happen, G. Peace.